Does that sound familiar? A year before Secondhand Rose was heard, there was Rose of Washington Square. The music for both pieces was written by Jimmy Hanley, who wrote a lot of songs for Broadway and for the movies. Now, my Rose song also mentions secondhand clothes, as does Secondhand Rose. And oddly enough, the lyrics are by two different guys. So maybe Mr. Hanley just was a big fan of secondhand clothes. The Rose of Washington Square was on the Billboard charts for 12 weeks back in 1920. And this song has a feature I have not seen before. There are two sets of lyrics. One is marked comic and the other ballad. We'll start with the ballad.
A garden that never knew sunshine once sheltered a beautiful rose. In the shadows it grew without sunlight or dew, as a child of the city grows. A butterfly flew to the garden from out of the blue sky above. The heart of a rose set aflutter with a wonderful tale of love. He told her of birds and of bees, of the brooks and the meadows and trees. He whispered, Rose of Washington Square, a flower so rare should blossom where the sun shines. Rose, for nature did not mean that you should blush unseen, but be the queen of some fair garden. Rose, I'll never depart, but dwell in your heart, your love to care. I'll bring the sunbeams from the heaven to you, and give you kisses that sparkle with dew, my Rose of Washington Square.
Now then, what about that comic verse? You can see here, this song was introduced by Fanny Brice in the Ziegfeld Midnight Frolic of 1920. And here is Miss Brice. I'm guessing that's around 1920, but I really don't know. Now, she had a tremendous singing and acting career that lasted into the 1950s. And she sang both of these Rose songs, Secondhand Rose and Washington Square. Do you remember the movie Funny Girl? That was all about Fanny Brice. Now, the verse of this song starts, I'm Rosie, the queen of the models. I, on the other hand, will sing, she's Rosie, the queen of the models, and so on. In these lyrics, we're told that one day, Rosie met Harrison Fisher. Now, Fisher was an illustrator whose drawings of women were often on the cover of Cosmopolitan magazine. He told Rose in the song that he wanted to draw her for the cover of Jim Jam Gems. And there's a cover of Jim Jam Gems from 1922. I wouldn't necessarily call that sort of picture you'd put on the cover of Cosmopolitan. Anyway, now then, I will sing the verse that Fanny Brice introduced in 1920, Rose of Washington Square.
She's Rosie, the queen of the models. She used to live up in the Bronx, but she wandered from there down to Washington Square and bohemian honky-tonks. One day she met Harrison Fisher. Said he, you're like roses with stems. I want you to pose for a picture on the cover of Jim Jam Jams. And that's how she first got her start. Now her life is devoted to art. They call her Rose of Washington Square. She's withering there in basement air. She's fading. Pose in plain or fancy clothes. They'd say her Roman nose. It seems to please artistic people. Beaux, she's plenty of those, with second-hand clothes and nice long hair. She's got those Broadway vampires lashed in a mast. She's got no future but no